Trump endorses Jake Paul for a electoral run, so to speak. Now, just to be clear, it doesn't seem that it was for presidential, but because that would kind of contradict things if, I don't know. I mean, in the Constitution, I don't think Trump can stay on as president because he's done a total of 8 years, but he saying that he's essentially going to support him if he does intend to run for Congress. Basically, that's where we are in the situation. Now, I've done another video on the channel about this already, but from the perspective of some creators' views on the issue. And now I want to do I'm just going to share my screen. We'll just look at pattern this nicely. Put myself in the corner here, and gonna look at what he says, really, isn't it? Let's just share that. What's Jake Paul saying about this?
From a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much bigger than you, and I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same.
So he's saying, even though your opponent's bigger, then you still fight. Apparently, okay.
Same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here. My dad taught me to fight. And
YouTuber running for some sort of electoral campaign. He's not said president though, but let's hear what he says.
Our voices matter in America, and I'm never afraid to speak the truth. And I know you guys aren't. We are here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump. We need more factories like this thriving all over the country, and I know he's going to
it seems so this rally or whatever is taking place at some sort of factory.
Be the one to bring that here to us. I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right.
Just one slight comment. It does seem
side of history
that he is still affected by the fight because his nose is broken. I'm not sure whether Joshua did it in that fight. I mean, I know his jaw was broken in 2 places, I believe it was. He may well have recovered by now. I think he said that he did have some metal put in his jaw. But okay, let's continue. Anthony Joshua from the UK.
And everyone here has to do their part. And God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Interesting. I think then Trump comes to the mic, and what does he say?
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage.
Yeah, that is a separate clip. So let's just look at what Trump says. There's loads of posts on this. Loads and loads and loads of posts. I was just kind of scrolling through just to see. Yeah, let's see what Trump says about it.
Just want to say, I'm going to make a prediction that you will be, in the not too distant future.
So you got to listen carefully. He doesn't say president, but he says, go on.
Running for political office.
So he says that he'll be running. He says that Jake Paul will be running for political office.
Jake said.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage.
We heard that bit already. Now, I have heard some other content creator views on this, and if you look at this one here,
I'm not scared.
So this was, if you look at this was like 70 weeks ago, and Jake Paul endorsed Donald Trump in the presidential election. See here what he says.
Because I am protected.
And I should say as well, I'm not. This is just journalistic, mate. I'm not on sides here. It's journalistic. It's big up my American brothers and sisters. It's used lots of politics and that. I'm just looking at it and commentating it and sharing the information, but man's not involved. You get me? I'm not involved.
My God has sent me here to tell you this message and push this in front of me and put this on my plate to do this. Do the right thing. Vote for Donald Trump.
So he was endorsing Donald Trump, as you can see there. And then, as I say, Donald Trump says he'll endorse Paul if he enters politics. If he goes on a political run, basically. And they're doing their dance. I'm not going to play the music, though. I'm not going to play the music. There's some sort of Trump dance. Interesting. somebody was commenting earlier actually that about the height because apparently Jake Paul's listed as 5'11", Trump's 6'4", but they seem to be quite a similar height here. But they do say that as you age, you know that can affect your height and stuff like that. But yeah, they're doing their dance in that. But yeah, what do you think about Trump endorsing Jake Paul for political office? That was the terminology used for political office. And this was during a Kentucky rally.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. You know, we never back down from a fight, even if they're much.
It must be very hot in that place. You know, maybe this man will one day be the president. So be careful what you say, as you would say, kind of. But yeah, he seems very. I'm not sure what's going on with the sweat in that. But I saw it go.
Bigger than you, much bigger than you, and I feel all the local.
Yeah, we heard that bit already anyway. But yeah, so he's been endorsed for president. So just a little background on this while the visuals play. I'm just gonna get some visuals to play on this one. We'll just let those.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. You know, we'll
just let those visuals play. So this is in March 2026. Yeah, and what you're having here is Jake Paul, who's well, I wouldn't call him a former YouTuber, but he's a YouTuber turned professional boxer. Jake Paul, who stood beside the former US President Donald Trump, and it sparked kind of viral headlines across the world, where Trump predicted that Paul would run for political office someday, and then gave him what he called his complete and total endorsement. So for some it sounded like satire. For others, they thought potentially a social media influencer becoming a political candidate backed by a former president could be a thing in the future. Although he didn't say it, some people think that it's a kind of predictor for Jake Paul running to become president at some point. But the moment did reflect something bigger, the growing intersection between internet, celebrity, entertainment, culture, and American politics. It's the story behind that moment, and that's why it matters. You see, because before politics entered the conversation, Jake Paul was already a controversial and highly recognized figure. First rose to fame in the mid-2010s on the short-form video platform Vine, and content ranged from pranks and vlogs to music and lifestyle. And then things moved towards boxing, began fighting professionally in 2020, and turned the bouts into massive online spectacles. Some saw the fights as publicity stunts. Others argued he was bringing attention and money back into boxing. And I'll be quite frank. I mean, the AJ fight aside, which was totally uncompetitive, and as you saw, his jaw got broken in 2 places, and he got KO'd by Anthony Joshua from the UK. It definitely did. Jake Paul and the likes of KSI, they've definitely brought attention to boxing, but I think people want to see proper world champions, I'll be honest. But you know, it is a side of it. And then you as you saw recently, you had that Misfits fight with Treach and Salt and Pepper's daughter, and again she got completely outclassed by a non-boxer but a taekwondo fighter, Jay Jones, with 2 gold Olympic medals. So some of this stuff is a bit mismatched, but it does bring attention to the sport. Now, as I said already, Jake had endorsed Donald Trump in the 2024 US presidential election cycle, and he's also used social media to comment on debates involving the immigration, police, and American culture. And some saw him as a young celebrity engaging with politics while entering discussions some critics say he was entering discussions that you didn't completely understand. I don't have a view either way on that, but that is certainly what some people do consider. But this is a person with tens of millions of followers, and that kind of audience is something that politicians notice, such as Donald Trump. Then in 2026, you got this rally in Kentucky, and I think he said that he grew up down the road from there. That Jake Paul was invited onto the stage by Donald Trump. Paul spoke briefly to the crowd about courage and perseverance. He praised Trump. And as you know, I'm not going to go into the detail and all the politics of it, but in the background to all of this in the world, there is an American, Iran and Israeli conflict going on. At the moment, there are oil issues, May Strait and all this type of stuff. So there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, but obviously this is politics in Kentucky, and Trump endorsing Jake Paul. As I say, me personally, it's not my business. I'm just here to report on information on the internet, just to let my subscribers and that know what's going on. Do you see what I mean? So I'm not giving views here nor there. But yeah, Trump said that Paul had his complete endorsement. What's actually been endorsed, it's not presidency. Let's just be clear, because there wasn't a specific endorsement for presidency. There was an endorsement for a run for political office. And apparently, my US people tell me if I'm right or wrong, Jake would, and probably why Trump may not have said it, because Jake would actually be not eligible to run for president at the moment under the Constitution, because the minimum age is 35. I'm not sure that Jake Paul was 35. I think he's in his 20s still. So it wouldn't be, but he could run for positions in the US House of Representatives. Is that Congress? I think so. So that's why it's more of a prediction and a symbolic endorsement than a formal campaign announcement. But could a social media influencer actually become a political factor? Just go over to his profile actually while you guys stop and think about this. And we're going to look at a couple in the past who've done it actually. It's not unknown. It's actually not unknown. Yeah, they see there. Imagine having 28 million. I mean, they're going to be from across the world, but imagine having 28 million. Oh, it's him putting on the Ronda Rousey v Gina Carano. He's promoting that. I think that's on Netflix. But anyway, the point I'm making is, yeah, MVP and ESPN, he's got his own promotions. Yeah, the point I was making is it's not unknown. Oh my God. You see, what is he doing there? I just look over here. He is back in the end, we might say he's buoying himself, or he's buoying it because he's taking liberties about himself, because he's got himself being knocked out by Anthony Joshua. Maybe, do you know what? Maybe he's taken it as a mark as to where he's coming boxing, that he's been able to go in the ring with a former I'm sure Anthony was a 3 or 4 belt heavyweight champion of the world for some time actually. So Matt is something that Jake seems to be quite proud of. But just going back to whether you can become, okay, what's this? In the tractor or something. Anyway, Ronald Reagan did it, became president after serving as a governor of California. Arnold Schwarzenegger became governor of California. And businessman and television personality Donald Trump. There you go. So they're actually in a similar vein, really. He's a television personality who became president, Donald Trump did, and president twice over. And then he's got people who support him, and you pick those people who don't. I mean, that is the nature of politics, isn't it? But in other words, the idea of a celebrity entering politics, it's not new. What is new is the type of celebrity, and we're talking about YouTubers here. Do pranks, get energy. Look, he's obviously very familiar. It seems like his girlfriend, this part, has got a gold for the Olympic team or something. That's okay, interesting. Look at this. That was the fight, wasn't it? think he's. I said, long day at the office, brother. For true, a very long day at the office. Anyway, enough of that. Oh, that must be heavy copyright. But anyway, it's not unknown to happen in this, and it could potentially happen with the algorithm, viral videos, and social media that makes a completely different ecosystem. I'm not even going to show some of this stuff. Look at that. That's what I was talking about. You see that? That is mad. He got his jaw broke. And I'm not going to show the video because I'm not sure what YouTube's going to do to it. But when you, after the punch, you could see his jaw was broken. You could see actually that it was kind of hanging in his mouth, which is crazy. It's really, really mad. But other people think that political leadership requires experience, policy knowledge, understanding of government. So you got the people who think it's about being popular, and then there's others who think it's about, the knowledge, the responsibility, the leaderships. But Paul, just to be clear, Paul hasn't, as I understand it, officially announced any political campaign. He did not say he planned to run for office. So he didn't really respond to let me just flick through that quite quickly. He didn't kind of respond to Trump, so to speak. But we'll see what happens. But there is a bigger trend. It's a larger trend. Politics is increasingly being shaped by media personalities rather than traditional politicians, podcasters, influencers, YouTubers, and streamers now command large audiences. 28 million, amazing. It's very significant numbers. And this changes how political messages are spread. And Jake Paul's career is an example of that. I mean, I'm going to be quite frank with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he does become president, because it just seems to be where things. I'll be honest with you. It just seems to be where things are going. It's just. I think she's a speed skater. Maybe his girlfriend or fiance, or maybe even his wife. I'm not sure. No disrespect, Jake, I don't know how the relationship, but she's a gold medalist, a bit bigger them up same way. So will it happen? I see it happening in the future if things keep on going as they are. I think there's going to be a lot of people who would be against it, and obviously maybe his 28 million, 29, it's going to be 29 million soon, will be for it. But as it stands, he's been endorsed by President Trump with the dance moves and all of that, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, there you go. When Trump endorsed Jake Paul, big up all the watchers, listeners, and subscribers. Really appreciate the watching and the listening and the subscribe. You know it is. But for now, done talking. Respect.